But I'm sure across the region, you've also seen that, in Asia, there's generally a drinking culture. I would like to think, or I would think, no. But at the same time, there have been efforts that have succeeded and not succeeded so well in different regions in the country. Maybe you can share with us what have been some of the best practices for self-regulation that through your organization, from your company, and also from organizations like this that we can learn from when it comes to self-regulation. Can we switch on the mic, please?
I think it's working out. Thank you. Okay. So one of the things that we want to highlight is that, in recognizing self-regulation efforts, actually the WHO itself, the World Health Organization, as part of its global strategy to reducing harmful use of alcohol, recognizes that the industry also plays an important role in helping to reduce harmful use of alcohol. And because precisely to that point, right, we feel that it's also our responsibility as an industry player to make sure that we're putting in place an efforts in terms of self-regulations. And then to your point, RJ, about examples of what we have been doing, not just within the Philippines, but also at a global level. It is very broad-ranging. So self-regulations, covers a broad spectrum of commercial activities. So what we like to say, from grain to glass, right? At the point of production, what can we do to make sure that we're putting in place responsible way of doing the business and a sustainable way of doing business as well. Just to give you a few examples, right? For the labeling, to your point about tobacco putting some graphic health warnings on its packaging, some of the governments around the world actually mandate some warning messages on alcohol beverages. Not across all the markets, but through the efforts of self-regulations, as ABAPI members, we're also putting in place warning messages. And we have been doing that long before, the government actually mandates that. So warning against, pregnant drinking, or those who are minors or under the legal drinking age, or drink driving, for example. So those warning messages are part of the label of our products, and we market that across all of the markets, regardless of whether the government actually mandates that requirement or not, right? So that's one example. The other example, what we have at a global level is the IARD, which is the International Alliance for Responsible Drinking. They are a self-regulatory kind of association which sets the guideline for the industry players. So it sets multiple marketing codes, and also the best practices in terms of what to do when it comes to targeting promotion or advertising materials out there in the market. And as part of this marketing code, most of the ABAPI members, we also have our own internal marketing code that we follow, right, to do responsible marketing and making sure that whatever messages that we're putting out there to the end consumers, there's no misinformation, and we're not encouraging irresponsible drinking behaviors. Right? So that sort of a guideline, sets in place, practices of everything that we do, starting right from the way we, select our KOLs, who play a very important role in our society.
And just to clarify, KOL, that means that key opinion leader. So for example, if you see people on online or on TV talking about alcohol, they choose very responsible key opinion leaders.
Yes, correct. So the way we select our KOLs, we need to make sure that they at least a minimum age of 25. Mm-hmm. They don't primarily appeal to minors, and the way we are promoting consumption, we do it in a very responsible way. So that's another example of the marketing codes that we do as part of the self-regulations, and regardless of whatever market that we operate in, right, and what is in place in terms of the local regulations. The other thing that we have done, a great example again, during the COVID, you would have seen a peak in terms of the at-home consumption,
yes,
right? And e-commerce platforms suddenly emerging as one of the key channels for people to purchase alcohol, right? And we took a swift action in terms of forming that coalition with our stakeholders and partners in the e-commerce platform to sign a pledge, right? To put in place various methods of preventing underage consumers of attempting to make that purchase online, right? So they have now put in place responsible messaging on display on the website. Apart from that, there's also an age gate kind of verification process. At the point of purchase, at the time of the purchase, when they make that purchase to verify the age. Apart from that, they have another safeguard measures, right, at the point of delivery. So when they're making deliveries, there's another safeguard to make sure that whoever is making that order, is meeting the minimum legal purchasing age, right? So I would say this is the best practice, for an e-commerce platform that we have put in place here in the Philippines as part of the effort to reduce, harmful use of alcohol.
Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to dive a bit deeper because two of the, I think, overwhelming concerns that keep on coming up from the earlier talks and also from the speeches is that in the Philippines, we're dealing with the importance of the concern over excessive consumption of alcohol. And we want the people at risk, right? Excessive consumption. And number two, underage consumption. I think underage consumption, we've tried to address that one pretty much by the labeling through e-commerce. We have a lot of safeguards on the way. How do we also safeguard? What have been the best practices also to safeguard against excessive consumption?
Definitely, I think the industry plays a critical role of helping to educate the consumers, right? Because that's probably one of the most important things consumers, they need to be well informed about what is the right level of consumption, right? So actually the government sets the guideline in terms of what is the maximum cap. For men it's 28 grams per day, for women it's 12 grams per day.
Let's repeat that again so people remember that one. It's 28 grams per day for men.
24, correction, 24 grams for men.
24 grams for men.
And 12 for women.
If we were to turn that into something more practical, help us imagine that one. That would be like...
How many glasses would that be?
But how many glasses would that be? So we get a better picture. And we'll get back to the need on that one because it gives us a better idea also as well.
Yes. Maybe my fellow
we'll start competing here right now. But in the meantime, yes. So yes. Please continue.
So definitely, those are the information that we need to keep the consumers informed. What is considered moderate, right? So if consumers choose to opt into alcoholic beverages, as attorney was pointing out, her family, she doesn't do drinking, that's fine, right? We respect that. For those who actually choose to drink, what is the right level of moderation, right? I think that's important information that we need to continuously communicate to the end consumers. And as part of the self-regulations effort, that's where all the CSR activities that we do to help educate the consumers. It's not about just enforcing the regulations, but it's actually about behaviors of the end consumers as well. And that's what we have seen in terms of best practices that it comes across the globe.
Thanks so much. Now, very insightful for many of us, I guess, to understand better how to handle it. It's not a problem that we can solve amongst ourselves, but shared consultation, and we come to that sort of conclusion. Kaya guys, yung nanay, di ba? May mga practices na binibigay sa inyo at may mga alam kayo tungkol sa inyong mga mamimili kung anong kinukuha nilang produkto, di ba? So, nanay sa inyo naman po, kunyari sa mga sari-sari store, di ba? They're able to share with us the best practices. But pero para sa inyo, I'm sure alam po ng mga narinig dito, but para sa mga hindi pa nakakaalam, especially yung magbabasa ng mga article tungkol dito, ano yung mga best practices para mabawasan yung excessive consumption or talagang sobrang pag-iinom sa sari-sari store level, pati na rin sa pagbibenta sa mga minor de edad? Unang-una sa mga, kunyari, excessive consumption mo, yung sobrang minom, ano pang ginagawa ninyo? Anong mga best practices na ginagawa ng mga nanay para hindi yan na mapatuloy?
Usually meron kaming signages, posters, nakalagay sa mga tindahan namin, wherein nakalagay po doon 18 years old and below, hindi po pwedeng bumili. So 18 years old pataas, those makakabili sila. And sa ibang lugar po, isa lang, kunyari, one Alfonso or one Emperador, hindi na nila pagbibilan ulit.